All right, ladies and gents, we are back. This is our second episode of the week. We have another one tomorrow with another wonderful young lady. Um, we are very estrogen high this week, nothing but women. But all good stuff, all great individuals that provide great services that are out here to help so many people across the nation. But the individual that I have with us today, as you'll see, which you should have seen already if you paid attention to my social media, she's actually someone that um, she's got a handful of kids, for one, keep her occupied, and we'll go into that a little bit. She is a teacher and she is a professional certified travel agent. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I love traveling, and sometimes it can get a little pricey. And it always helps to have someone in your corner that can help you cut some corners when it comes to pricing. So, without further ado, because she is at school at her job right now, and I want to respect her time, but without further ado, I bring to you Miss Kelly Cremeens. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
I'm well. I'm well. So, first and foremost, thank you for giving us your time today. Thank you for sacrificing a part of your lunch to spend it with us. Hopefully, I'm not going to say hopefully, it's going to be well worth it. So, first and foremost, I've been knowing you probably about 4 or 5 months now, maybe plus or minus.
Been more
Um,
than that because you were there when I broke my ankle. So that was
yeah,
December. So it was.
man.
It's been a little while. How about that?
Time flies. Time flies. But
Yeah.
yeah, so one of the things that I tell a lot of my people in my network that I've been connected with for a while is that the vast majority of the people that I'm actively working with right now, I didn't even know them this time last year. So, like people like yourself, people like my guest tomorrow, um, I didn't know you guys this time last year, and I'm always super intentional about going out and connecting with people that I can add value to what you're doing in one aspect or another, and vice versa. As you know, I do a decent amount of travel. I used to do a whole lot more before COVID came along, but you're in a position to be able to help me and a lot of those individuals connected with me, and I've been able to help you out with a couple things here and there, which I hope to continue to do. But I kind of want to learn, or at least allow the audience to learn a little bit more about you today, and I'm sure I may learn a couple new things as well. So, if you don't mind, just kind of get us kicked off. Who is Kelly Cremeens? What brought you? Like, how did we end up connecting? And like, what are some of the things that are relevant in your life right now?
Man, I'm still trying to figure out who Kelly Cremeens is. Honestly. Um. So I am. I. It's always such a hard question to ask or to answer when they say, "Well, how many kids do you have?" That's not even a simple question. I have six biological children. I have four stepchildren, and I have one bonus child. And with that comes one, two, three, four grandchildren. I'll meet my first, well, my fourth grandchild. I'll meet today. So,
Wow.
um, so I have a whole gaggle of kids. I've got 105 students every year right now. So I have, whatever that equates to, 100 something kids every year. And yeah, beyond that, I try to keep myself sane. Like I don't go to the gym, which I will after this month. I will hit the gym, but I don't do anything for myself, right? So um, I do travel. I live vicariously through my clients is what I do.
I love
So
it.
I love love to travel, and I had done so many other businesses, right? So I've sold makeup, I've sold jewelry, I've sold prepaid legal. Like I've done so many other things because I have that entrepreneurial heart.
Hmm.
Always had that, but I could never find the right opportunity. And then right before COVID, this travel agency thing just kind of landed in my lap. And I thought, I don't really want to start another thing. I don't need something else to take me away from my kids. So at that time, I was cleaning Airbnbs. So between working full time here as a middle school teacher and then, dropping my kids off at home, making dinner, getting them ready for bed, and then I go out and work my second job. Like, I can't, that's not sustainable. So I thought, I love to travel. And when I worked for the government before I became a teacher, that was part of my job was making travel arrangements. So it was just this natural transition. And I realized that this opportunity I can include my kids in, my family in with me. We went to Hawaii and I took my laptop and I quoted my clients from the beach, from poolside. And it was fantastic. So I look at it as an opportunity to not detract from what I do, but to add value to what I'm already doing. And my kids get to be involved and I talk a lot with them about, you know, geography and where do you want to go, what do you want to do, what do you want to see. So it's a really good space for conversations, even with my little ones,
Nice.
4-year-old.
Wonderful,
So
wonderful, wonderful. So you mentioned working for the government. I know you mentioned that to me before, and you even gave me some insight, some stories and such. Share with us a little bit, what was that experience like, and what got you into it, and why do you no longer do it?
so back home in the Imperial Valley, there's not a whole lot to do. There's not a lot of opportunity. And I happened to be able to get into our government sector there for the United States Border Patrol. And I loved it. I loved what we were doing. I loved my job. I worked for 7 different departments as the secretary. So I wasn't an agent. I wasn't out detaining people. I wasn't, I didn't have a gun on me. I wasn't licensed. But so I worked in the office and was the support staff. And I loved it. Um, I did very different things for each of the different departments, but I was in charge of like budget. So I had $1 million budget. They gave me a credit card, which for a woman that was fantastic. How could I not love my job? I time I like it was just fantastic. And I had this kind of hard look at myself when one of my bosses, he started going back to school and he said, I don't want to just stop where I'm at and then just retire at this level. He said, I want to be able to push myself further. And to do that, I need to have an education. So he went and got his bachelor's. And I thought, well, shoot, if you can do it, then I can do it. So I just realized I don't want to be a secretary forever. Like, that's not my goal in life, is just to sit in my cubicle and, you know, I my wings are way bigger than that space. So I started thinking about what I really wanted to do. And at that time, um, I don't want to get all religious or anything, but at that time, I knew that God was telling me that I needed to be a teacher. And I was like, no, if you, I was a terrible student. I'm not there. No, there's just no. And so it would just, that thought kept coming to me. And finally, he broke me down. I was like, fine, fine, fine. You win. I'll be a teacher. That's how I left, was, trying to pursue the thing that I needed to be in the place that I needed to be at right at the time I needed to.
Yeah,
That's how that came about.
got it. So how long after did you like transition right into being a teacher? Or was it like a little break period? Like, what was that transition like?
I stopped. I started going to school, so I was working. I got all my degrees online, so I got my associates online while I was still working. It's actually through a university that's in Chicago, in Illinois. So I got my associates there and then I went towards my bachelor's. And by that time, I needed to start thinking about, I have to do student teaching. So I knew I was going to have to transition out of my job that I was in and into something that was more flexible so I could get my time in. So, yeah, I stopped working at the Border Patrol. I became a teacher's aide for the band since I'm musically inclined, to say the least. But um, So I was a teacher's aide for a couple years while I was finishing my schooling and getting my student teaching out of the way. And then I got an emergency credential because I didn't have time to wait. And I got right into my teaching job 16 years ago.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
what's up. So you started teaching just a couple years after I finished high school.
Don't
Um,
say that. Oh my goodness.
so you say you're musically inclined to a certain degree. Like this is a new one for me. Like, what are you musically inclined with?
Uh, from for 9 years, I played the flute in the band. I played several different instruments, whatever my teachers needed. I'd be the first
Mhm.
one to volunteer. So I played saxophone, oboe, percussion, whatever they needed. I was in the chorus. I was voted the most talented my high school year, um, out of my senior class. And then after that, I was in a band. I've auditioned for several different, you know,
Like
programs.
competition and such.
Yeah, but my shine is kind of, so I'm working on it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I didn't know this. My son actually he started in percussions on the tenor drum when he entered ninth grade, and he just like skyrocketed and became like just this little superstar band, Mr. Popular kid. And he stepped away from band his last year to be able to double up. Well, his junior year to be able to double up and take junior year courses also during the same time as his second semester of his sophomore year. So he couldn't take band and do all that at the same time.
Yeah.
But he transitioned to show choir. So
Oh,
he
nice.
was a drummer for the show choir. So yeah, good stuff, good stuff. And then my daughter, she auditioned the other day, and she's been invited to join the band. And I think clarinet, trumpet, there's like 3 that she said she, was fitted for. I forget all I know clarinet was one of them, but we shall see.
That
Anyway, so just kind of looking back at your experience in, those extracurriculars, your experience on the border patrol, your experience in the classroom, which you still are doing, like what do you say out of all of that that you've been able to bring to what you do when it comes to the travel space, if anything?
yeah. Well, I got my first taste of travel at the Border Patrol. So I grew up I mean, we were um, middle class, like low middle class. It was just my mom that was raising us. So we didn't travel ever. The furthest I had ever been was 2 hours away from my home. Now,
Mm,
granted, my freshman year in high school, the band took us to Hawaii, so I can't really say that's entirely true. But so I didn't grow up traveling. Like that was just not. We didn't go anywhere. And when I got to the Border Patrol, I went everywhere, and that's when I realized how great this world is. Like it there I hadn't really thought about that there's a whole world outside of my zip code or my little space. So once I started traveling, I was always like, where can we go now? What trainings do I need that I can leave my little cubicle and go do? So the love for travel came during that time. So when I get into the way that my teaching has helped, and even my extracurricular stuff, I'm a introvert kind of by heart. I've always been pretty quiet, so I have to come out of my shell. Like I'm a completely different person in front of my students. I can act a fool in front of my students. That's fine. I need them to learn and remember what we're doing, so I'll do that all day long. That's fine. But speaking to adults, it's really nerve wracking for me. So I'm learning how to come out of my shell, how to be more extroverted. And you have to be approachable as a travel agent, even when I go to events. I can't be some recluse that's, not inviting. I need people to come to my booth. I need traffic. So I have
Hmm.
to be approachable. I have to have a really good, warm, inviting aura, I guess, to get people to come. So I've kind of been forced into those
Love it. So
opportunities.
one thing that you said is like not going outside of your zip code, aside from the band trip. And then you mentioned like when you started to see the world, it was like amazing to you, and like you were like, there's so much out here. Um, and being part of the border control, and then being part of your travel company now, like that was your catalyst, so to say. That was your invite to kind of show you, look, you got to go here, you got to go there, go and try this out, check out over here. Whereas lots of people, they don't get themselves involved in entities like that. So they never really have many people to show them that there's more than what you see around you right now. So after being exposed to different cities, different um, countries, different states, what would you say, or would you say it opened your eyes as far as like seeing things through different people's lens, seeing other possibilities that were out there that you may not have seen as a possibility previously?
For sure. There are so many opportunities I didn't even know was out there. When I have this discussion with my students a lot. I just did yesterday. Um, I be sure to tell them that, to definitely try new things. Do things that you never thought you would do, even if it's not something that sounds like quite as interesting. But
Hmm.
you don't. You're always evolving, so you don't know what you're gonna like later until you have been introduced to it. So, for example, um, I teach science and math in middle school. I have no math or science background. Like, I don't even remember taking science in high school, and I didn't do so hot in math in high school. So
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm a teacher, but here I am. So since I've been taking some college classes so I can be a better science teacher, so that I can only teach science, I have developed a love for something else. So I've kind of reinventing myself at my age, which I'm not going to say the number, but I'm thinking that there's something more. And I think being open to different opportunities is helping me do that. Because I'm making myself more willing to be moldable and put myself into situations that are uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to go back to school. I don't have time for that. Um, and I hadn't planned on science, but here we are. And so I'm recreated. I've got this whole grand vision for when I grow up. This is what I want to do. And I wouldn't have known that if I were not put in those situations where I wanted to evolve. I wanted to be better. I want to um, I want to know more. I want to be smarter. I want to have more um, intelligence of the world around us. So for me, traveling provides that. So outside of the classroom, because I'm always learning about different stuff, and I'm always questioning everything, which I'm sure can get kind of annoying, but I question everything. So um, yeah, I forgot, I lost my train of thought. Um, have asking those questions or learning those things propels me to another question. And I don't want to just read about it. I want to go see it. I want to
Yeah.
touch it. I have ADHD. I have ADD. I got to touch everything. I'm a very tactile learner. So I want to go experience it. I don't want to read about it in some history book. I don't want to read about it in a science book. I don't want to, I want to be there. And that all started with the Border Patrol, and it has propelled me every opportunity that I've had so that I can learn about different types of people, learn about different cultures. It's not just about me. There's, I am just a teeny tiny fish in a gigantic pond. So I want to learn about everybody. It's I I just I thrive on it.
Ye- and I love hearing that. And obviously, you and I have had some conversations, around certain topics that some people may shy away from because they have a certain mindset and they think a certain way because they don't involve themselves in other cultures. They don't get to know other people and other people's perspectives and how other people look at certain things completely different than they grew up looking at things, to really understand individuals. So when you travel, you get that opportunity. So we could easily sit in a classroom, sit behind a screen, and watch something that someone else is experiencing. But until we go there and we're actually, in the midst of it, do we really understand? Wow, so this is how they live. This is what they experience on a day to day. So it gives us that, additional um, perspective. So just to kind of and this is a little selfish, but I know it will benefit others as well. I want to talk some of the nitty gritty when it comes to the travel space. So there are some people when they hear travel agent, they get a bitter taste in their mouth. They think timeshares, and they think this person is going to sell me something that I don't really need. They're going to charge me an arm and a leg so that they can get their commission, this, that, and the third. But most people don't realize, like, there's so many different areas when it comes to travel that a specific, an agent can actually help you with. I know whenever you and I first started talking about the event that I'm doing down in Miami, and then the one in Monaco as well. Like, I'm not thinking about all of the transportation from the ground to this place to that place. All I'm thinking about is, okay, hotel and then travel to get there and back. And then, having conversation with you over the last couple of weeks, you're like, no, like, we can do this too, and get you picked up over there, and we can this type of transportation. Like, what? Like, all of that? And it just goes to show you can't come to any profession and expect to know everything that they offer. So, like I mentioned to you, I've worked with people in travel industry before, but they were so surface level that all they ever talked about was, I can help get you a flight and I can help get you deals on hotels. And that's all that I knew. And then, talking about my dad coming home the other day, mentioning that he was going to take the train, you were like, "Hey, let me know." I'm like, "Hold up, what, trains too?" Like, that's crazy. So, kind of talk to people on, like, what is the vast array of ways that you can help people when it comes to travel, all the way from the most small little thing that they probably never would have thought about, all the way to some of the larger grand scales that you can help people at.
Man, that's a big question. So I I like to pride myself on being a full service travel agent. Like, I don't want to just get you to point A. I want you to get to point A and have your plan, your itinerary already done. I don't want you to stress about a thing. I just want you to be able to go. And let me handle all the details. Let me get your let me get you from the airport to the room. Let me get you from the room to your first activity, your first excursion. If you have a meeting, let me get you there. I don't want you to have to worry. I don't want you to have to think about, oh shoot, I forgot to do this, or I didn't make reservations at this other restaurant that I wanted to go to. Like, every detail I like to have handled. I like to take care of people. That's part of my nature. As you can tell, I've got all these kids. I'm used to taking care of people. Um, and I like that. I really do like making sure that my clients are taken care of. And whether it's, oh geez, like, for example, I have a family going to Ireland. So they're just like, these are the dates I want to go, and these are some things that I want to go see. And that's the other important thing. I've gotten to know my clients. What is it that you want to do? What do you want to go see while you're there? So I get to know the client first, and they'll mention certain things. So I'm writing down all this stuff, And then I start researching. Okay, how can I best maximize your time, your money, all the opportunities that you have? How can I make this, if this is your one time ever going, how can I make it flawless? How can I get you to see all those things that you want to see? So you've got your transfers, you've got your rails going from city to city because they have 6 different cities they're going to tackle in 8 days. How do I maximize that time and the money? So, and she even asked me, well, what about activities when we're there? Do I have to take care of that? No, I'm not going to let you go all the way halfway across the world and be like, peace, good luck. It's not going to be that way. So I make sure that everything is handled so that when she's there, she knows, um, because she's in a foreign country, she knows that she's taken care of. Everything is handled from the very beginning to the very end. I'm even dropping them off at the airport. Like that's the kind of stuff I'll do. If that's how, is that what I have to do to make life easier for you because you matter to me. I didn't become a travel agent just so I could book some travel. I also wanted to make connections with people. I'm people oriented. So
Love it.
I like to make sure that they are taken care of. And that's why this is a service industry. I'm not, I mean, sure, money's great, but I like that part of travel where it's about the people. So if it's getting you, like we've talked on your, when you would talk about, oh, I'm going to go to this event in Miami. All right, you need a yacht? Okay. What, then let me get you. What do you need? The cars? Yes, I can get you a car. I can get you those fancy cars. If you need reservations at
Matter of
a
fact,
restaurant.
we gotta talk about
The,
that.
see, if you want to go see, you're out. All right, let's get you. You're in Miami. You can go watch the Dolphins if you're into, football, or if you like, I don't know, Tampa Bay. I guess that's in Florida. The Devil Rays. I don't think they're even on baseball anymore. Anyway, I can get you into any of those events. If you want to go see Beyonce while she's there, all right, let's get you in there. What can I do as part of my service for you? And on top of that, all
I
this
want
stuff
I
that I'm
want I
telling
want to
you.
call timeout. I want to call timeout. Speaking of sports. So hold that thought though. Like a few minutes earlier, I wanted to call timeout, but I want people who are entrepreneurs to listen to what I'm about to say. What she is saying right now is she highly individualizes her service to the person. We got so many people out here that are a one size fit all type of entrepreneur. I have this, I have that, I have this, I have that. This will be great for you, but you don't know the person yet. You don't know what they want. You don't know what they like. You don't know what they need. All you know is you have something that you love to push on people, and you try to push the same thing on everyone the same way, and it's not going to work that way. It's one of the reasons why I love being in the service industry as well. I like to know what are your pain points? What do you hate about yourself? What, can't you stand about the current situation that you're in, regarding your mental health, regarding your finances, regarding how you're operating professionally? What do you hate? What do you wish wasn't there anymore? And we go deep. We peel back certain layers so I know exactly, okay, I need this tool right here and I need to like bend it a little bit and spray paint it. Like I need it very precise for this individual because everybody is different. So I love that you mentioned all of these little areas that someone can be listening right now, watching right now, and they hear you mention concert. I'm like, hold up, what? I thought she was a travel agent. She could get me hooked up with a concert too. Like the little things that most people don't think about, that's what makes you, that's your unique value proposition. You go so much deeper than others. So please continue.
I forgot. I got all compliments. I don't know. I don't know.
So
Oh, the other point I was going to say, all of this doesn't cost you any more than what you're going to pay anyway. So I don't like my services are not, you don't have to pay me extra. I'm not getting, if you work with me, I don't say, okay, I need 500 bucks up front to pay me so I can do all this stuff. This is just, it's already embedded in your travel anyway. So anytime you work with a travel agent, essentially you shouldn't be charged more. For me, I like to look at it as it's a challenge for me. How can I save you the most money? So I'm
mhm,
not just like favorite supplier and I'm going to have you work with them. That's it. No, I am, how can I get it cheaper? How can I get it? I'm always checking the prices on flights, on resorts. How can I get the better price? That's just part of my, it's the service part. How can I be the best for my clients? Saving them money is what I would want if I was working with somebody. So I look at it as, you're my client, your family, and I'm going to take good care of you. I'm going to make sure you have hit all of your markers. I've checked all your boxes. I've made this experience the absolute best. If this is the only time you're ever going to do it, how can I make it the very best? And I'm not going to try to rip you off. That's not what we're all about. I mean, we got to help each other. So that was the other thing. Like it's all just included. And I know there's a
Oh,
lot of people that love to go look and get prices and check stuff out. By all means, you are more than welcome to go find what you want. And then just let me know. Let me handle all the other details. And there's other people that just don't have time. They're like myself, we're busy. So having the time to be able to do this stuff, it's so much easier if you just say, this is what I want, go find it. All right, I got you. I'll go. Let me do what I do. You sip your martinis or go hang out in your sauna or whatever it is that you do, and go to work and take care of your family. On the backside, let me take care of you. That's you're taking care of other people. Let me take care of you. And yeah, that's probably my favorite part. I get
nice.
really excited when I'm seeing what is available for like what I'm offering my clients. I get really excited. And then I'm like, great. Now I need to chaperone you. Like, let's take it a step further now. Let's go.
I love it.
So it's
So
it's just
I've got two questions. One, and I'm just be frank, like a lot of these questions are very personal because like I'm picturing in my head, okay, how can she help me do this? How can she help me do that? So let's say someone had a trip that they're considering taking a month and a week from today, and they have already looked at flights. They don't really love the prices, but it's not too bad. Um, they need to make a decision quickly, and they say, "Hey, I'm going to this event in this city. I would love to fly into this specific airport." How quickly of a turnaround would you be able to give them a good quote on, these are your options and these are the expenses, XYZ?
as long as all the stars are aligned, right? In a perfect world, I could have it done in probably if we I could have a quote done in about 10-15 minutes. So
That cool.
if I have because I already know who provides the best pricing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and unless you have certain things that you want, like some people will only fly Delta, they'll only fly American Airlines, they'll only unless you have parameters like that, I can hit. I have fine tuned how I research, so I can maximize time.
Nice.
So yeah, I can get a quote pushed out in about for something like that for about 10 minutes. At a hotel,
I
give me.
got it. So, second question, which is in alignment with that. Let's say the person knows somebody else that lives near them, and that person is going to the same place. They use you, but then they get there and they're talking to the person. Oh, my flight or my travel agent helped me get all this taken care of, and I only had to pay X, Y, and Z. And the other person like, oh, I got it for cheaper than that. And then they come back to you. Hey, my friend got it for cheaper. Like, why didn't I get it for that price? Like, what would be your comeback?
Well, there's different things that happen. The biggest thing is with airlines, especially. I've been on the phone with the airline, and in that conversation, looking up one flight, the flight has gone up like $600 just in a
Mm,
conversation. So it depends on how soon in advance that the arrangement was made. That matters. It's all the agents have all the same accessibility. Like we all have the same connections. It's
mhm.
just did you Did you invest the time to figure out or to find the best connection? Or did you just go to some surface level, you know, supplier or whatever? Um, there that the biggest factor in that would be time. Did you get it at the
Mhm.
right time? Was it
Yeah.
did you fly out on the Tuesday or Thursday, which are the best days to fly? Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. They're the cheaper days to fly. Did you do it on that day? There's just so many variables. And the biggest thing is, did you hit it in time or did you wait?
Got you. Now, on that, what you just mentioned, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays, I remember hearing that, and then I always forgot, like, are those the best days to actually book, like be actively booking, or is those the best days to actually be departing? So it's departing, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Got it.
departing days. So
Got
whenever
it.
my clients give me like a generic like chunk of time, like I just want to go in June, that's the first thing I do. Let me let me check the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday times because I want to get you there on the cheapest day. I want to get you back on the cheapest time so that you can use that money elsewhere, enjoying your trip.
Yeah,
So it is the departure days, and just so you know, you can book flights 330 days in advance. Just so you know,
130. Okay.
330. That's
That is good
yeah,
to
and you want
know.
to get the yeah,
So we're in a good window to start booking flights for a wealth explosion next year. So it's right at
exactly.
330 days.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Good deal, good deal. So, um, yeah, I was looking up some flights the other day, and actually yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And so yesterday was Tuesday. So I was thinking in
Uh-huh.
my head, okay, the tickets should be lower today because I'm looking them up on a Tuesday. So that means I need to go because I was looking to fly out on a Friday and then come back on Sunday.
Okay.
So I need to potentially fly out on that Thursday because the event is going to be on Saturday. Um, okay. So now I'm not going to forget that. I'm going to remember now Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Thursday,
Okay.
Saturday.
So, so right now we are approaching halfway through the second quarter. We're getting to the back end of the academic year, and travel is going to start picking up in about a month or so for a lot of people. What are some tips that you would say right now are some things that people should either keep in mind if they're looking for, to do some traveling this summer? Um, some of the things that maybe are commonly overlooked or people look back and say, I wish I would have known when it comes to summer travel.
Um, just I think the biggest thing to remind yourself is that everybody's going during the summer. Like there's people just inherently they just travel at certain times of the year. That's the busiest
Hmm.
time of the year. So just understand that that's when the highest flights are. That's when the highest resorts are. That's when hotels book. They, you want to book out as far in advance as you can, and just know that those dates usually, I mean, they can be changed. There, whether or not there's a small fee, that's a whole other issue. But it's better to secure the dates in advance and make an arrangement afterwards because it'll be way cheaper than having to do it last minute.
Yeah.
Um, there was one time that I booked a couple going to Hawaii, and because they had to go next week, it cost them. I mean, I made $1,000 commission off of that. So it cost them, if I remember correctly, it was like $4,000 for the flight and the hotel for a week in Hawaii for two. I took my whole family for a week in Hawaii for five. So
Wow.
if you wait, it's going to hurt you. I mean, I'm not saying it can't be done. We can always make magic happen. We can always get it done and at the very cheapest price that we can, but just understand there's high times, and for me personally, I would rather go to places that are less um, visited, during that high time. So
Yeah.
that'd be the time to go instead of going to Cabo or Cancun, go to Bacalar. It's beautiful. It's a smaller place, but um, you still get the same experience, but it's cheaper. And if you're looking to save money while you travel, go to the smaller places. You don't have to go to the Atlantis in the Bahamas during the high time. I mean, you can, of course. I will do do whatever it is that you want. We can make sure that happens, but just keep all that in mind, and then don't get upset if the prices went up or if it costs so much or if it's out of your budget. There's so many times that I get people saying, "Oh, I want to go to, I want to go to the Bahamas for $1,000." I mean, I, I've tried. I I have tried, and I've gotten a couple hundred, off of that. But I can't control the pricing, and
Yeah,
I'm working hard as I can to get the very best price. So
love it.
it's there's only so much I can do. So I mean that's just kind of the biggest thing. If you're thinking about it, you're still going to think about it later. You might as well book it because you never
Yeah,
know. You just never know, and you have to have something to look forward to. That's
yeah.
been my thing. At least with my job, we're going on a cruise in December. So you have to have something to look forward to. And then after that, you need another thing to look forward to because life is so hard
And it's
that,
short.
you know,
It's short. Like
yeah,
we gotta have experiences. Um, now different topic. Well, different aspect, same topic, travel. So I know sometimes, and I'm thankful now. I'm like very flexible as far as departure, like coming back home, arriving. Yeah. As far as coming back home, I'm very flexible, whereas I don't absolutely have to get back on a certain day to be back for work or something like that. Um, so I sometimes hear where they're like, we're asking for when they overbook, we're asking for someone to stay back, and you can get a $500 voucher and a free night, such and such. So I've always been like, man, like I wish I could be one of those people and like volunteer to stay so I can get me a nice stay at a hotel with some spending money. Like, do you like are there any tricks to like finding overbooked flights, to kind of increase that probability, or is that just something that happens by chance?
I think that happens by chance. I
Yeah.
don't want to put my clients because my clients are always, they're working families. That's who I
Hmm.
work for, working families. So they have to get back, have a job, they have school, they have something. So I need to make sure, and I try to go with the the airlines that have a low probability of canceling flights. Like that's another
Yeah.
thing too. How's the availability? What's the reliability of the vendor of the flight?
Yeah.
So to get people back, I promised you one thing, and that's what I'm going to deliver on. I mean, I know that there's things out of my control, but I don't want to put any of my families in the position where they have to worry about that. When I've got people asking about going to Mexico, my first thing is, okay, well, when is the bad season? Like when are there um the probability of having some tornado or whatever. I i i, I will tell them, man, just keep this in mind, like things can happen. Are you sure? I want to keep you safe. Are you sure that that's the right thing? Or if there's a travel warning for that area or whatever, I try to deliver on what I promise. So
I love that. So, last question. Um, have you had an experience where a person um, had their flight canceled or delayed? It was completely outside of your control, and the person like pretty much held you responsible or asked you like what are they supposed to do, and like it was outside of your control. Have you ever had anything like that happen?
not yet.
Good,
It's
good.
just no. I don't want that to happen.
I know,
I
right?
would.
Let's not put that in the universe. It's one of
I
those
know.
things like I am a very I'm a very like laid back and I understand circumstantial situations. Whereas I see people, and obviously people get up in arms because they have commitments on the other side. So they're like, get super upset. But I'm one of those people that I do my absolute best to, treat the airport staff, um, as nicely as I can, because it's not like it's their fault that the plane is delayed or that it was canceled or whatever, but they're the one right there in front of you, so they get the brunt of it. Uh, so I hear people in the background getting all up in arms, like, man, like I hate it for that, that worker. So, I think about you being a travel agent, and I'm like, man, I would hate it for her if someone, is delayed, like, well, you booked this, you should have this, you should have that. No, like I'm it's out of my certain things are out of your control. And I was just
Yeah,
wondering if you had that experience.
I haven't had that. I did have a client that's very particular. Like he comes across as being really laid back, but I know he's not. Like I already know him. So I know what he wants. And there, whenever I book a hotel, and this happened in a hotel, I check the reviews. I check the I check the reviews. You know, how good of a hotel is it? What are the recent reviews? What are people saying? So I go that far into before I ever even book a hotel. But he had very specific things that he wanted. So I got him in a hotel that met all of those requirements. So when he got to that hotel, which he approved of over the other one that was recommended, he wanted this one. Okay, great. You know, that's what you picked. And his complaint was, well, the pillows were dirty. Well, the arm of the chair was dirty. Well, there were stains on the carpet. And I mean, like, dude, I get it. I know it was not up to snuff. It wasn't up to your standards. Um, you know, I apologize, and I'll call the manager, and I'll make sure that the manager knows that there was an unsatisfied customer.
Hmm.
And if they tell me enough time, I can try to get some money back. I can try to get some kind of incentive to go again and try them again, or you know what I mean. I go that extra mile to make sure that my client knows that I have done everything that I could to correct whatever was wrong.
Yes.
My parents went to one in Phoenix, went to a hotel, and the um, the water didn't work in the tub or something, like some crazy something. So, but I don't find out about some of this stuff until they get back, and then they say something. Well, I can't do anything once you're done, but
Right.
while you're there, I will certainly call up whoever I have to if you know for whatever it is. If I got to call my direct, we have direct connections with people. They're called BDMs. If I got to call my BDM up and say, hey, this is what happened. You need to fix this. Then I will do that. So so far I've had just very minor things happen. You know, I have not had any disasters yet, and I hope to maintain that in the 6 years that I've been doing this.
Yes.
Um, and I try to avoid that at all costs because I've checked every box. I've researched everything. I've done everything that I possibly can. I try to avoid any possible hiccups anywhere. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm typing your website into the graphic here, but before I finish, I'm gonna let you give it to the people because I don't want to misspell it. So, where can people find you? How can they book you? Um, where are some of your reviews? What can we tell the people about getting in touch with you for travel?
okay, so my website is www.indulgenceta. So the name of my business is Indulgence Travel Agency. So it's Indulgence TA for travel agency .com. I'm on Facebook a lot, so you can find me either Kelly Cremeens or Indulgence Travel Agency. I've got on both. Um, I mean, if you got to DM me, I've got the my card. I've got um, good grief. I I have all kinds of avenues to get a hold of me. So
Nice.
get hooked up with Brian. He you know, you'll find me, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Um, but I'm everywhere. I'm on every platform I can get on. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. But Facebook's my that's my baby.
Love
Um,
it. So pretty much Indulgence Travel Agency.
yeah, that's the name of the business. And indulgenceta.com is my website.
Nice, nice.
Indulgenceta.com. The other thing you mentioned reviews, and this is where I've kind of hurt myself. So I don't know how to correct this. So maybe you can help me. Because I'm on several different groups, hundreds of groups that I try to be very active on and make
Mm-hmm.
connections. I made a connect. I went into a group and asked them to do something. It was this Photoshop group, and I said I have this picture of my family, and it's a beautiful picture, but there's a pole in the background. Can you guys, because you got this is your thing, can you get rid of that pole? So they did a fantastic job and they just love to do what their hobby is. And so they put it back and they're like, yay, it looks great. But I had one guy comment saying, well, that's not your family. I'm like, yeah, it is. So and I was like, I mean, I understand that that was my bonus daughter in the picture. I understand that she's Hispanic and I am not. So I see how you can see or think that that's not my child, but it is. Like, trust me, it is. And so we kind of had a little banter. Well, he went on to my business website and gave a bad
Mm.
review. And I was like, what? I would have never thought that's not what I don't think about that because I'm not that kind of person. I'm not going to go do something
Yeah.
like that. So then I can't, Facebook won't let me delete it. So then I had to
Mm.
turn off because I don't want someone to say that or to see it and be like, and he said in there, oh, she's a terrible travel agent. She wasted my money. She did this. I'm like, I, what? I've never
Wow.
worked with you. This Photoshop thing. But he blocked me. So I couldn't, there was nothing that I could do.
Mm.
I tried everything that I could. So I had to turn off reviews. I got scared.
Well,
So,
I may be able to help you with that. I have connections with an ethical hacker, so
oh,
I may
well,
be able to help you out with that. There's some things I have in mind. Sorry, I had. Can you hear me?
yeah, you're coming in and out, but you're fine. You're
Er,
coming.
I'm here. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, I think we're good now.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little fuzzy. Yeah, I always forget to turn on stuff whenever I do this session, but we may be able to go in. I have some ideas to do um, for going ethical routes. Um, but yeah, that's something that I'm worried about. Even is getting into exchange, even if I'm not in the wrong, if I'm not even saying anything outside of nice things. Somebody could get in their feelings and just go make a bad review. So that review was that on your Facebook page? That review? Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it. So we'll look at review avenues, but that's not what we'll have here. So with that being said, I want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for the information. We are going to be working together for every step. I have I actually have two potential uh, trips in the next like 45 days. So, and they're potential. I don't have to be there. One of them is very religious, which is Father's Day. Then, and one of them is just welcome a lunch party of sorts in Texas. But I look at things like on my stuff, and you should help me with that. But I think that all of those why if you don't have someone in your corner when it comes to traveling, you want to reach out. gotten onto that audience. When you get here, maybe I will promote you. But until then, any final word, any final word on your end?
Uh, no. Well, the only thing that I would say was support your small businesses. People like me, we're not trying to scam people. We're not trying to hurt people. We're just trying to put food on our tables. So make sure that you're helping us. Sure, you can go to Costco or AAA or other places, but they're not going to give you the same service that we will. So just please keep us little people in mind. Support small businesses. So.
Definitely, definitely. So I'm gonna see on my end, get a little audio feedback now. But that's gonna be a wrap for today. I want to thank everybody for showing up. Thank you again, Kelly. We'll definitely be speaking here over the next few hours or so. I'm going to put you backstage real quick, close out with the audience, then I'll come back and close out with you. We call it an afternoon.
Yes,
All right.
you
Thank you.
got it. Thanks, you guys.
Pleasure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's another one in the books. Legacy Dialogue. If you haven't yet, go to our YouTube page. All of our previous episodes, dating all the way back to December the 30th, of our very first guests are still there on YouTube. If you go to the live videos section, I also have a page on my website. Go to my website, yourlegsbegin.com, and go to the little navigation window, or navigation button area. One of my no, it's not even under it's one of the main ones that you see there. Says Legacy Dialogues, and you can access all of the previous episodes there as well. If you're someone that feels like you are in a space that you want to share, want to mention some of the things that you do that benefit the lives of other individuals, reach out. Um, we'll see if it's fit for you to come and join me here on Legacy Dialogues. We can get you some extra exposure while at the same time allowing you to just kind of speak on being proud of what it is that you do. With that being said, the wrap, you guys got a wonderful remainder of your day. Um, I have a task I got to finish within the next 40 minutes for somebody. I gave permission to come down and make the card because he's been waiting on something that I've been promising him for a couple of weeks. So I got to knock something out here in a bit.